Hi, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to draw a proper bar graph. So here's our table of information. Now as you can see I'm looking at the different types of chocolate and the number of teachers that have said that they like them. So how do I actually know that this table should be put into a bar graph? Well, bar graphs are used to compare things between different groups. So in this case the groups are the different types of chocolate, the white, the milk and the dark. And then I've created a tally of the number of teachers that have said that they like that particular type as their favourite. So pause this video here so that you can jot down this table so that you can follow me as I plot it on the graph. So here's our graph paper. Now the first thing I want to do is give our graph a heading, and I'm going to call it chocolate and teachers. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is make sure that I have my 0 in the bottom corner. Now I want to start by labelling, just fix up that X there, big dodge. Just want to start labelling my x-axis. So what I'm going to do is put in my options here. Now I want to make sure that my scale and my column size or my bar size are even. So I've only got 3 options, the white, the milk and the dark. So I'm going to space it out a little and I'm going to take it away from the 0. Okay, so I've got my 0 here. I don't want my first bar to be right up against the 0 line. Okay, make sure that you've got some space between it. So I'll use red, and I'm going to use I'll use a gap of 2, and my column width will be 4. Okay, and I will call this one white. Now again, leave a gap of 2. So here's my gap. Okay, just put that arrow in there. That's my gap, again, because I've got the same gap here. Now my column will be 4, and then I'll call this one milk. Again, gap of 2. Start my column will be 4, and I will call it dark. Okay, so it's really important that every column or every bar is the same width, and that you have the same gap between them, making sure that this one is included. Okay, I don't want to see any bars right up against that 0. So let's start labeling our y-axis, and this is the number of teachers. So what you want to do is put in your heading first. So number of teachers. And that actually reminds me, I forgot to put my heading here, down the bottom on the x-axis, type of chocolate. Okay, so let's also work on our y-axis scale with the number of teachers. So the highest number is the milk, and it's the 12. So what I'm going to do is go up in ones so that I have a nice even scale. Okay, there's our scale written in. Now you'll notice that it actually goes beyond 12, and that's something really important to make sure that every single scale that you have goes beyond your highest number, because that tells us that your bar has actually stopped at that point, and not that you've cut the top of your graph off or something like that. So it shows a clear ending and that the scale still goes on, so there is room beyond it to move. So now let's draw our bars in. So with our white chocolate, we had 10 teachers liking that. So let's draw this line up here and come down, and we can colour it in. Right, our next one was milk, and that was 12. Colour that one in as well. And our dark only had 2. Okay, and then we can colour that in. And that's it. That's your bar graph done. Now, I'm just going to go over a couple of points that separate a science bar graph from a mathematical bar graph. Now, the biggest difference is our bars do not touch. Okay, so you'll notice that there's this gap that I made sure that was really important when I did my scale. Okay, the bars don't touch. When the bars touch, The graph is actually called a histogram, not a bar graph, okay? So you would actually have drawn the wrong type of graph. So really, really important thing to remember is to have this gap between your bars. Now something else we notice in maths, that we might draw lines on top of our bars. We don't do that in science either. So the way that we have it right now, you would receive full marks for science. Okay, so those are 2 points that you need to remember when it comes to these graphs. And again, if you're confused or you're still not sure, go and see your teacher.